A lot of people hear the final song, but they never see what the room felt like when it was being created. Welcome to Titan Sound Sessions. This is where we explore the process behind creation. Today, we're going to talk about the studio session, the vibe, the collaboration, what it's like to be in the room. And who I have in the room with me today is none other than a fantastic songwriter. I don't think I can have enough adjectives to describe her greatness, but I have Sheena Mason in the room with me today. We're going to talk about the studio session and everything that's involved, the things that people don't see.
Mhm.
So, welcome, fam. Welcome,
What's
welcome,
up? What's
welcome.
up? I'm glad to be here.
The studio session itself, we are people that love the process of creating music.
Indeed.
That's where we get our thrill from as creators, whether your niche is songwriting, uh, composing, producing, engineering. It's the behind the scenes work. So let's get into that a little bit. But before we do, how you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. Every day is a blessing. So, every day is another opportunity to be a creative, to be productive, to
Hmm.
be positive, and you just have so many influences day to day that allow you to either put it to pen, put it to
Hmm.
song, put it in a melody, so I'm just glad to be in the session again. You know what I mean?
And we've had our own fair amount of sessions
Yeah.
ourselves, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about being in the room and what that feels like. So you have like the energy and the mood, those type of things. Describe to me what it feels like for you, and what's your ideal situation in the studio?
So I'm comfortable with when you go into the studio, it's almost like, okay, it's go time. It's like pull all the energy you can possibly pull from things that you've seen, things that you've heard, things that you're hearing. So when you come to the studio and you are ready to hear the music and see like where it takes you,
Hmm.
and so that's just how I pull from it. So sometimes I come in with concepts in my head and then I try to express them to you, which we knocked it out of park multiple times with a few of the songs. Just like, I heard this in my head and, you know, I hear the violins, I hear the drum beat, I hear the bass line. And once you pull it all together, it's almost like this colorful noise in your head is something that you can hear. So that's that creative energy that you feel when you're in the studio.
Hmm.
So when I come into the studio, I'm just like ready to see what the product is going to be. Like, what are we going to work on and what can we build on and how we can change things and how it morphs into the eventual final project. So, or the final product.
Right.
So either way, it's just like you get here full of um not even expectations. You don't have any clear expectations. You just kind of say, all right, this is what I got, this is what I don't got. Oh man, that's dope. Let's play on that. Let's run with this. How do you like this riff? Let's adjust this key. Let's add harmony. Let's layer it. Let's make it thick. Let's make it simple. So all of those things come into mind when you come in the studio and you're just so excited to be um an artist, a creative.
Right.
So for me, that's the best part of coming to the studio.
I love that.
Mhm.
And once the energy is right, that's when the creative process can really
Flow.
happen, right?
Yes.
So let's get into that collaboration, because when you walk into a room, the energy is right, the chemistry is right, the mood is right, then the real work can happen. Is It By Chance is still such a magical song, not because of how it came out,
Mhm.
but the process we went through making that. Like everything you
Mhm.
describe is what that Is It By Chance session
Ah,
was. Like you came in here with a song that you had in the tuck for years. Like I've
yeah.
been sitting on this idea forever. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, then what is it? Yeah, it's the intro of this song here. I just looped that in my head and I wrote this song to it. All right, well let's do it. Like we created that
Yes.
right there on the spot.
In a matter of like less than an hour. Like
Yeah.
the whole thing was like mapped out. And I'm like, let me lay down the vocals, keep that loop going, and I'm gonna sing it to you how I hear it in
I
my
still
head.
got demo-itis. I ain't gonna hold you. I still got demo-itis.
Yeah, so I mean, that's how I write.
Mhm,
Like usually I'll hear I'll hear even something as simple as um elevator music.
mm,
Like, if it's something that catches my attention or catches my ear, and I'll hum to it, and I don't necessarily always have the words, it's just that I'll start building on just that, like that one liner, and then I'll run with it. Or if I hear something and I'm like, dang, that's dope, I can do this with it. And I like to listen to all kind of music. So something that draws my attention, I'm like, that's it. Like just that
right,
one line, even when you hear a singer sing and they like kill a riff, I'm like, just that riff, you turn it into a guitar lick and it can be a whole nother song.
mm.
So that's how my brain works when it comes to writing music. It's like I'll hear something, I'll start humming to it before you know it. I throw a couple words on it. And with life's experiences or situations, or even just watching other people and their drama or their happiness or just general, life day to day, it's a song. It's an opportunity to put that experience, that feeling, that thing that you've seen into words. And then before you know it, it's a melody and then it's a song. So that's just how my brain works. So when I come in the studio, I'm like, yo, I got this. It's eating at me. Like I gotta put it out. And so just keep building off of that, you know what I mean?
So we're in the studio, you have the producer, songwriter, artist dynamic, communication and building trust. How do you view that, and what's your approach to doing that?
So, first thing, the first approach is respect. You respect everybody's position.
Mm,
No singer is gonna sound the same. No singer is gonna do what you do. They can't do what the next singer does. Same with like musicians. There's some musicians that, they're in their bag in their own way. And, it's you come in there with a respect, like, I respect what you got going on here. So how can I assist you with that? Or how can I help build on that? Or how can we work as a team? I mean, for me, it's almost like, what can I do with it? And if you allow me the opportunity, I'm going to do what I can.
mm,
But I never feel in any way like slighted if it's like, okay, well, we're not going to go with those words. We're going to go over here with that. And that's dope. That's the opportunity for somebody else to have that right fit. So when you come into this, as a singer, as a writer, I always look at it like a respect thing. Like I
right.
respect that you enjoy the same thing that I enjoy. And let's just do what we do. And hopefully it turns into this magical, situation where it mesh and it turns into something great. Whether it be separate or together, but when you come in and you're with writers, producers, musicians, singers, it's almost like a group effort. It's not even almost, it's definitely a group effort that is foundationally based on a respect. So that's just how I look at it when you're in the studio with other creatives. Like you got to kind of respect what they do. And I kind of vibe off of that.
Have you found yourself in studio scenarios where those elements weren't there, where the
Absolutely.
egos were too huge?
Absolutely.
How did you handle that? Like, give me a situation, like, for instance, you ain't gotta say no names, but, give me for instance.
So, I had a situation where I was invited to write for a artist, and I I did not feel like the artist kind of like was a fit for the songs that I was writing,
Okay.
but I was specifically brought for that singer. I wrote the songs like I hear it and I sing them as a demo like I sing. The producer was liking my version and not liking the singer's version of that
I
song.
can understand that.
And so the singer who invited me to write got pissed off, and I was never invited back
Mm,
because they didn't like that the producer was liking what I was doing and how I was singing it,
right,
and wanted to kinda, like, cut that singer out and say, "Let's work with you. You're a better fit." And so, I did not want to in any way step on the singer's, um her movement, because this was technically her session and she was bringing me in. And so I thought that would have been a messy situation for me to continue to work with that producer,
right.
and that was somebody that she was tied to. So I kinda bowed out that situation and, left it there. But, I did what they asked me to come do. Um, it's just that it may not have worked out for her like she wanted it to. So that's where the situation came in. Like, kept my, respect level where it was supposed to be. Like, I was invited by this person. I don't wanna do nothing underhanded. I don't want that to be, on me. I just kinda want y'all to work this out however you gotta work it out, but this is what I got for you in this session. Um, so hopefully y'all can work that out, and I kinda just bowed out, you know?
Which makes sense because that's the producer's role to manage everybody in the room, manage expectations.
Mhm,
Even if you have that situation where, okay, the songwriter's demo is killing your actual performance right now.
mhm.
The producer's job is now to get a vocal producer to help vocal produce.
Right. So that's
So
why I just kinda did what I did, and I said, "Alright, here you go." You know what I mean? And I kinda just, like, I didn't wanna be the artist. I didn't wanna be the person you put on the front street. I was brought here to write, and I did what I had to do, and this is how I laid it out to demo. Now you work with your artist, and you do what you gotta do with that, you know?
yeah, and that's the point in a session where things can come together or it can completely fall apart.
Yeah.
Right? Just managing the situation the right way. I was talking about this before where a producer's role is not just the music itself, it's literally managing the entire process from start to finish and managing everyone. You got to manage up, you got to manage down, you got to
Right.
manage across, you got to cater to the four different personality spectrums that could possibly be in the room. And you have to inspire everybody to be great. You just gotta find a way to do it, and it's
Yeah.
on the producer, right? That's I like how we were talking about roles and respect, because everybody has a lane, and everybody's lane is valuable. You can't diminish one over the next because this is what's gonna make the song come together
Mhm.
in the end.
Yeah.
So what makes a session productive from your standpoint?
Options.
Okay.
It's not necessarily like you just pick one song. Like for us, we had that one session, like we ran like 5 or 6 songs
Yeah, you
in a
did.
few hours, and they all weren't absolutely complete, but now we have options.
Mhm.
Like, "Oh, let's go back to this one and let's try to finish this one out at the next session because I think we laid the groundwork for something great." So, that's what I consider a productive session. Now, if we timed out a session specifically for a song, I think it's not productive for you to get in here and not prepare, like, as the singer, as the
Preparation, yep.
writer. So, I always kinda like to say, "Okay, if you have something that you wanna work on specifically, send it to me before I get to the session so I can work on it, I can play with it, I can tell you what I came up with, so I'll have something for you to
Not
work
coming
with."
in cold.
Time is money. Like, I'm a big person of like, I got this much time.
Mhm.
What are we doing? You know what I mean?
Right,
So for me, I time is money when it comes to that producer or that musician or that singer or that writer. So I'm like, why would you want to waste your own time? So you come in here and you're like, all right, let's vibe, let's run with it. That's all good. But don't just be in here wasting time. Don't be in
mhm,
here, talking about all the stuff you did all week if you can't put it to a song.
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like productivity is creating options. Like, if one song has you stumped and all you got is a first verse and all you have is a melody, you have an option. So that's how I always look at it. Like, yeah, I might not have finished the song, but yo, listen to this. It's dope. Let's see what we can do with it, play around with it, keep adding to it. I'm going to keep trying to add to it. If I scrap it and rewrite it, I've been given an option.
Right.
So that's what I consider productivity, not the completion. It's the option to build. So
And
that's
then
productivity.
following options with direction.
Right.
Direction, that communication, the timing, and the one thing you said, a lot of pretty much everything you said I love, but the big thing that stuck out was preparation,
Yeah. I'm big on that.
and that's with everybody in the room.
Yeah.
The lack of preparation can make or break a session, just that right there.
Yeah.
The engineers not being locked in to be able to record at a certain pace,
Mhm.
that can ruin the vibe.
Right.
The producer not having the things handy that they should have can ruin the
Right.
vibe. The songwriter not being prepared, not having a clue of where to take the song. And now the artist is sitting there twiddling their thumbs,
Yeah.
momentum gone, energy gone, and
Right.
now you got to start all over again. It's hard to get that train
Right.
back on the tracks once it's off.
Right. Right. So that's the hard part about going into the studio with the artist and you're the writer and the producer and you're trying to pitch a concept. With that concept, you want to bring something to them that's kind of laid out. And even if it's not like as far as being the writer, if the song that I wrote, the words that I wrote don't kind of mesh with that singer, you still have the groundwork for the melody
Right.
and the singer could say, "Yo, I love the melody. Let's switch up the words. This is how the creatives work together." But you have the groundwork laid out for the artists when they come to say, "This is some of the songs. These are some of the options that I want to kind of work on. I'm gonna let you listen to them, let you listen to the music, let you listen to the demo that we kind of came up with, and let's see which ones you want to kind of focus on." And then that's where you start.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that's where you end in that session, but that's kinda where you start, and that's where it's productive. You know what I
True.
mean?
True. Because what makes a great session isn't just the talent in the room,
Right.
the awareness. And we talked about, things that can make a session go wrong. Ego for me is a big
Oh
is a
my god.
big, big thing that can derail a session.
Yeah.
What else would you add to that list?
I think we mentioned it already, not coming prepared. That kinda ruins a session for people because, like I said, if people are like, "I could be doing something better with my time," it kills the energy in the room. Coming prepared. I'm prepared to sing, I'm prepared to make pivots, I'm prepared to push myself, I'm prepared to give 110%, I'm prepared to be present. Preparation is everything. Ego always kills me because it kills that whole preparation of it because when you have to pivot, people who have too big of an ego are resistant to that.
Mm,
So if you always pushing back and you always have a negative about any option that was put out there or any any take that was made, if it's always a negative, like people start to say, "Oh, I don't want to work with him," or "I don't want to work with her." Like they just give me the ick, or they give me a bad vibe, or I don't care about I don't care for their attitude. And that stunts that creativity. Cause
mm.
now your mood is like,
That's something that's something I had to learn firsthand in the beginning of my journey. Because I'm the producer, I'm the producer, I'm the producer, and you think that I'm supposed to be hand on the steering wheel all the time. I had to learn, no, that's
yeah,
sometimes you're not driving.
right.
Sometimes you're in the back seat. Sometimes you're not talking at all. And I messed up a couple records early on in my journey with that producer ego. So that was a painful lesson. I had to come with my tail between my legs and,
Yeah.
be humble and apologize. Like, you know what? My bad. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I got in the way of what could have been something great.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that, aside from ego, I think that and this is something I had to learn, sometimes it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
I still gotta work on that because sometimes I say
"You
stuff,
ain't
you
through with me
know,
yet."
and yeah, and they be like, "Ew, why you say it like that?" Or "Dang, that was rude." And you're like, even though it was factual,
Mhm.
how I said it could come across rude. So, you can kill you can kill somebody's spirit by trying to give them constructive criticism, and it just comes across as criticism, and it comes across a little harsh, a little rude. Like, you know, um, I sing. Am I the best singer in the no. There's some people, a lot of people that could probably blow me out the water, but I know what I'm doing when I gotta do it.
Mhm.
But there are some people that you even it crosses your mind to say, "How did you get here?" Like like,
"Who
who
do you
told
know?"
you kinda like letting the first thing come out your mouth like, "What was that?" You know what I mean?
Mhm.
No, you can be like, "Well, that's a start, but how do you feel about that? Do you feel like that's your best work? Like, do you feel like that's all you can do?" And that's it's constructive to say, like, "It wasn't great,
Mhm.
but I just wanna make sure that that's not your best because I need your best." Like, so if I said it like that, they're more receptive to kinda get in there and like, "Imma show you what I could do."
Yeah.
And after that, if you still didn't come through, then I'm looking at the producer like, "What are we doing?" But that's not my thing. That's not for me to say to the artist, like, you ain't that ain't it." You know what I mean? It's more so like, "Okay, well, I think we can work on some things." Being constructive and not being rude can definitely, change the trajectory in the room, you know?
Yeah. Another big one for me is reading the room poorly.
Yeah.
I think it all ties hand in hand. Lack of direction, ego, reading the room poorly, that's all in the same mixed bag.
Mhm.
We think about so it's like, okay, how do we turn the corner? Because when those things happen, the room changes, which just changes the outcome of the song
Mhm.
entirely. So my focus from my lens in that type of situation where, maybe the vocalist isn't performing the best. I'm gonna do the positive route. I learned to do that. I love it. Let's do that one more time.
Right.
A trick you learn in sales, on the phone, smile and dial
Yep.
because people can hear the smile in
Hear
your
your
voice
smile
when
in your
you
voice.
talk.
Yeah.
Just
Yep.
whatever I could do to keep the room in a positive energy, even though the song might not be going the way you want it to go. Got to keep that positive direction because you never know. You're just one slight change away
Yeah.
from completely shifting momentum to something
Yeah.
fantastic.
And it's the same concept, for, my line of work. If you don't know something, you're putting yourself in a worse position by acting like you do or acting as if you have it all together. There's nothing wrong with saying, "I'm not quite sure about it, but let me check it. Let me check or look into it and get right back to you." And that's kinda like the same as saying, "You know, you're right. I'm not sure if that was the right key or if that sounded
Mm,
good, but can we run it again? Can we try it again?" So it's that same concept. Like you wanna come and get the most out of that session by, you know, putting your all into it, accepting constructive criticism and just trying to create that environment where you get options, where there's good vibes, there's positivity, there's creativity, and then there's so much magic that can come out of that. Like, you'll sell yourself short because you have an ego or you have an attitude or you can't accept constructive criticism. So,
I like that. Another thing that I love about our behind the scenes process are the things that people don't see,
mhm.
like the emotional breakthroughs when creating a song. Because a lot of times these songs start with a conversation about how you're feeling
Yeah.
about it. It'll be a real situation that you're expressing. All right, well, let's see how we can put this in a song,
Yes.
and then it comes out and I always find I don't want to say it's funny, but I understand how behind the scene relationships happen between artists and songwriters and
Oh,
producers. I
yeah.
see how that happens because everybody's putting their real life experience into that song, and everybody's falling in love with that song and falling in
Right.
love with each
Right.
other because they are real. The moments can be awkward, they can be raw, they can be powerful because you are really putting your heart and soul
Right.
into this song, where the musician is expressing that emotion musically, the songwriter is expressing it vocally, and then the artist is putting their all
Yeah.
into it. Now we're all bound by
And
something
it's like
beautiful.
full combustion.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what I know about music is it's all relative. It's all relatable. And usually when you write these phenomenal songs, for me as a writer,
Mhm.
I write songs based on experiences, um, things I see, things I've heard, movies I've watched.
Talk about it.
I do it all the time. Like they'll have an intense like sex scene, and I'm like, yeah. Like the way that their body moves or the contrast on their skin color. Like it's crazy like that.
Mhm.
That's how my head works when stuff is going on. I can be writing something to it and like somebody be like, yo, like, I can see myself going home playing this record and doing what I do with my boo, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Or being a singer and performing a song that like evokes so much energy. Like it's a almost like it's a craft that's I mean, you can't even compare it to anything. But you wanna make people feel you when you're singing a song. You wanna make them feel you when you're even writing it. You want people to relate to where you're going with the song. So that's why when you're in the studio and everybody's like, "Damn, like, talk your what I mean, talk your stuff," and Dad, that's crazy.
Mhm.
Or, when a woman's in her like height of her femininity and her sexuality and she expresses that and you're like, dang, like that energy is almost like a fragrance.
Yeah.
Like you can smell it, you can
Mhm.
feel it without even having any contact. So that's why it can get crazy sometime when you're in a studio. So, like when I wrote What Could Be Better Than This, like
Another
I
missile.
yeah, I love my husband that much that, I wrote a song about it. You want to hear it? Here it go. You see what I'm saying? So, but I know there's somebody else that like loves their man or loves their woman like this, then you's like, this, you can't get no better than this.
Yeah.
So when I like sung the chorus, I sung the chorus first before I even wrote the lyrics. But the lyrics came easy because you just start thinking about all the things you want to say to your boo, and you're
It's
like,
coming
ah,
from a real place, you ain't gotta make it
right,
up.
exactly. So
Mhm.
when I'm feeling sexy, I write sexy songs. When I'm mad, I'm gonna cuss. I'm gonna say all the stuff that, I probably wish I said before I throat punch somebody. But it's literally like that type of energy. It depends on where I'm
We're gonna
going with the
work on
song. Yeah,
that.
I'm getting better. That's all I can say. I ain't been to jail in a while.
The secret is saving me.
Right, right, right.
What's something people outside the room don't, understand about studio work? So I know that as creators, what we do is it's not hard to explain, but people don't understand it. So what's something that people outside the room don't understand about studio work from your lens?
People outside don't understand how studio works because they're used to seeing like people come in the studio and BS.
Mhm.
Like they want to come in, they want to get drunk, they want to get high, they want to say one line that's like killer, but they don't understand that everybody doesn't have that free range to say I have unlimited studio time.
Right,
Like, if you're paying for studio time, you better get in there and do what you gotta do, and then get drunk on your own time.
right.
When you come in, it's almost like you got work to do. You're on a mission. So that's the misconception for a lot of people outside. They think it's like, a party. No, you're on a mission. You got something to do. And if you want me to come to hang out at the studio to get drunk, like I have a bar at home.
Right.
I'm gonna stay home and let me know when you're ready to work. Let me know when you're ready to be a creative. So that's where I think the misconception comes in. It's fun. It's a vibe. It can be chill. You can sip a drink. Some people are better when they, you know what I mean, smoke a blunt before they start. Some people are better when they're a little loosey goosey because you know what I mean, your juices start
They're not
to flow
overthinking.
when
Yeah.
you are inhibited. You know what I mean? So, I understand that. But for me, don't waste my time and you came in here just to get drunk. Like, you're not going to be your best self unless you kind of like, tap into that unspoken area of your brain that makes you want to just go on go mode. Like I got stuff to do. And some people are more creative when they're high. They're more creative when they're drunk. But I think that's the misconception that everybody comes in the studio to do that because not everybody comes in the studio to do that.
I agree. I think it's severely underestimated the level of professionalism that goes into being great
Mhm.
musically in the studio, the way you have to carry yourself. I think that's tremendously underestimated. And you can see it and you can hear it in some of
Yeah,
these songs that are out now. It's like, yeah, they didn't put the time in
yeah,
to go through the entire process to make sure that this is the best thing that it could
could
be.
be. Right.
In some ways, I do miss the gatekeeping era of music. I love that we have the access to put out music as we want now, but that's also like a double-edged sword because that
For sure.
means there's a lot more bad music out than it is good, and you have to do some deep sea fishing
Mhm.
to find the good ones.
Mhm.
So, like, this entire platform is about reaching out to the next generation of aspiring creators. How can we leave gems and the nuggets behind to help them elevate, because technology is pushing a lot of things forward, but not to lose the work,
Mhm.
the process in that process.
Right. Right.
Like so much of the session lives in this space, and it's the space between the obvious moments, and that's what makes being in the room so valuable. I know that a lot of people go away from being in the actual studio with people actually creating, but those have been some of the my greatest moments, like being in the room with other people.
Well, so there's 2 sides of that because, some people are the most creative in their own element. Like, there's a lot of great singers, great writers that a song came to them, like, in the shower. I do that.
Mhm.
A song will come to me while I'm in the shower, and I start humming something, and then I have to keep singing it while I'm in the shower so I can get out and get to my recorder and then sing it on the recorder. But, some people are most comfortable when they're, like, wrapped up in the bed. Some people are more comfortable when they got their fuzzy slippers on and their pajamas. Not everybody can come to the studio looking like that, you know what I mean? Some people are more creative when they're in like their garden room or something like that. Like some place that kind of gives them the opportunity to just kind of lay down everything else and just be in that moment and then something comes to them. So it's a little bit on a both ends type of thing. Like I write most of my music at the most inner opportunistic time.
Mhm.
I'm in the car dropping, the kids off somewhere, or I'm driving home, eating some french fries before I get home before anybody asks me for them. You know what I mean? I could just sit in the car in the parking lot and I'm just having a couple minutes to myself and then something will pop in your head. So the studio is definitely great because you get to record that creative moment that you had at home or wherever you were in your car, in the shower, or whatever. So the studio brings that now I get to see it kind of flourish.
Mhm.
Not, I just had this moment at home that could be great. Once you get in the studio, your goal is to make it great. So you come to make it great. You had the concept that created at home. So when you come to the studio and you have the other creatives here, that little nugget that you created in your space, now you have everybody coming in and saying, "Oh, that's dope. How about we do this? How about we add this? Let's take away this or let's make this bigger. Do that riff again." Like it's so dope because now everybody's on that. I just had this moment and now everybody's like, "Yo, that was a moment. Now let's make it a thing." So that's where the studio makes it great. You know what I mean?
That's fantastic that you brought all that up because I actually talked about that in session 2, uh, the collaboration of everybody in the room, everybody lending their gift and how the record shapes and evolve the more
Right.
people that touch it. It
Yeah.
becomes something greater than you initially expected, and to your point, a lot of my ideas don't even happen in here. They happen everywhere but here, and I gotta
Everywhere.
bring them here.
But when you bring them here and you like, "I knew that was gonna be dope." Like, I
Yeah.
knew that, you know what I mean?
Mm,
So, it's just like, when I brung the songs that I brung to you and like, "Yo, what do you think about this?"
amazing.
And, shout out to Kamiko.
Oh,
I love
yeah.
her voice.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love her energy. I love her vibe. So, when
Her new album,
she
Moody, is out now too.
and it's dope. It's
That'll
dope. It's on
handle
it's
that.
on repeat. Yeah.
Yeah,
But, like, when she sung the song, no matter how many times I've sung that song to myself before I brung it to the studio, to hear it sung and executed so well, and then to hear her do her riffs and her drags and to just it was just like, "Yes, girl. This is this is everything." Like, for me, it was just like, that's that moment that the studio can only give you. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think I'm gonna put that clip up of the initial, draft we did just so they can see so they can get a peek behind the scenes of how that works. That was such an amazing
Ah,
moment we
that
captured there.
was.
I
Yeah.
still got demoitis, I'm not gonna lie to you about that one. Uh,
Yeah, that's my all-time favorite song. By Chance has like even as the writer and the initial singer, I can sing that song like I've never heard it, and it's just like, "Oh, this is like one of my favorite songs." Like, who wrote that?
yeah, yeah, that was,
Yeah. No,
who wrote
I
that?
love that. That was, like,
She
one of
wrote
my
that.
absolute favorite it's always been my favorite song. So that's that creative moment. Like, when I brought
Mhm,
it to the studio and you brought it to life, I was like, "Oh my god, it sounds even better than I thought it would."
mm,
And that's kinda only what a studio can, like, offer you. Like, let me pull that moment out of your head. Let me pull that idea and let's put it down and let's work it and let's see what we get from it. And
right.
it was literally amplified by 1,000 once I heard it back. I'm like, "Yes." And then when Kamiko put hers on it, I'm like, "Hell yeah." Like,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Home
Mhm.
run.
Mhm. For sure.
So, Sheena, I gotta thank you for coming through
Ah,
Titan Sound
anytime.
Sessions. If you know a creator needs to hear this, send them this episode. If you want more content like this, subscribe to Titan Sound Sessions. I'm Double A. See you soon.
This was dope.